welcome to Investment Talk Only with Johnny Ruiz. It's time to get to the money.
It's investment talk
Yo,
only.
what up?
If you say you got the money,
Hello,
you gotta
everyone.
show
Welcome
me.
to
A
Investment
lot of people
Talk
talk, but
Only.
that be phony.
I'm your
I
host,
just
Johnny
remember what Jerry
Ruiz. Got
Mack
my
told
co-host, Monique Benitez. Monique, how you feeling?
What's up? I'm good. I feel excited.
It's been a
Feel refreshed.
week with all the election and COVID. First, we had more COVID cases, and then Pfizer comes out with a vaccine. Did you hear about that?
Nah, I didn't hear about that.
Man, you got to get more in tap to the news cycle. But so
I know. That's what I have you for.
Yeah, so Pfizer came out with a vaccine. I don't think it's ready for like mass distribution, but it's 90% plus effective. And so the stocks just went crazy today. The Dow went up like over 1,000 points initially. So it's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy week.
I heard wine sales went up 119% this weekend. I know about stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. And I think cannabis actually went up over the past week as well, because a lot more states are like
Oh yeah.
legalizing marijuana. So shout out to all the people that are in stocks. So today's
Yes.
episode, we're talking about the stock market, what it is and how it works. So basically, as you know, we're trying to walk everybody up into how to invest, what the stock market is, and then we go more into advanced strategies down the line. So today we're going to talk about the stock market and how it works. So
This is exciting because this is what people are waiting for. This is like the meat and potatoes, like
yeah, now we're starting to really like get into like everything. So, but the other steps were necessary first. So first we're gonna talk about that. Of course, we have some questions that we got from online and the stock of the week.
Yes.
So let's get into it. So,
all right.
The stock market. I don't know if you were to guess what it was. Like, how would you explain it to somebody? If you just take a shot.
How would I explain it to somebody?
Yeah.
I would be like, okay, so let's say everyone, like you got a group of people, everybody's bringing their piece of something to the table, and everyone gets a little piece of the other person's something, and however much money you have depends on how many pieces you can get. That's how I look at it. Like we're all sitting on the table. It's like, all right, what you got? I want to get a little bit of that. What you got? All right, I got enough money for this, and kind of whatever you can get. That's how I look at it. Anyways,
that's not bad. That's
the best way I can explain.
That's a good start. I mean, you're not far off. So, the stock market is just like any market, like a meat market, food market. It's literally a stock market. It's somewhere where you go to buy stocks. Stocks consist of companies who were once private, and they want to get more money for whatever reason. A lot of times, it's to fund some projects that they're doing, some R&D, which is research and development, and they go public, and so investors can have shares of their company. And so the stock market consists of all these companies that have went public. And like I said, at any market, there's buyers and then there's sellers who are selling the shares and buyers who are buying the shares, the stocks. So we as investors go to the stock market and buy shares of companies that we think are going to do good.
Yeah, but it's probably like the most dangerous. It ain't like no meat market. You ain't gonna. It's not dangerous like a meat market. A meat market is not dangerous. Stock market is dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly. But I like to phrase like that, and it is simply that. But people often don't want to get into it because they think they don't even know what it is. Like they don't know what the stock market is. They feel overwhelmed on just the idea of jumping in, but that's literally all it is. We're just buying stocks.
I think just looking at it is what makes it kind of overwhelming. So you just see all these numbers and letters, and you're just like, what does this even mean? You see lines and charts, and it's just like it's an unfamiliar territory. So,
but and it's simple.
So even just
one stock might be like in the market, an apple. Another stock might be an
Mm-hmm.
orange. Another stock might be a grape. If you think oranges are going to be the next best thing because you think people could start putting it on their pizza or whatever, or use it for other stuff, then more people are going to buy orange,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to raise the price of oranges, just like a stock. If they
Mm-hmm.
think this next technology or this company is doing the next best thing, more people are going to want to buy it, and so that's going to drive the price up of the stock. And if they think a grape,
Mm-hmm.
for in this example, is going to go obsolete, less and less people are going to buy it, and the people that do have it, they're going to want to get rid of it, and that's going to lower the price of the grapes, just like a stock. So that's all it is. It's just one big market of
Mm.
buyers and sellers. Now, how it works,
Gotcha.
right, is like I'm one person, and then there's a market, and we have me here and the market here. In the middle is the middleman. That's our broker. So that's our E Trades and our TD Ameritrades, and they connect us with all the other people that are in the market. So when I say I want to buy, they find somebody who wants to sell, and they reach out
Mm.
to me, and all that's happening in like a fraction of a second, and that's how we're able to buy and sell stocks in the stock market. Now,
I mean, I don't know how simple that sounded, but
let's go a little bit.
like you just named all this stuff and you're like in the simplest form. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't sound that simple, but I feel you. I get what you're saying. I just want to start asking questions, you know what I mean? I just feel like, okay, so what's the first thing when somebody like looks into the stock market? Like, where do you even begin? So basically it's like you walk in this market, do you go left, right, front? Like what are the things to look for you to just start moving?
When you look at the stock market,
Mhm.
you want to look at the overall economy, how we're doing. And so like
Okay.
for example, when Trump was just in, the stock market was booming, and then COVID happened and everything started tanking. So you want to see what's affecting the whole stock market, and what's the drivers of the market.
Mm,
So COVID has been a big one. The election has a big one. You want to see what's kind of driving the market right now. So, for example, the last few
okay.
months, election, it was a lot of volatility, meaning it's been going up and down. Nobody can kind of really gauge what was going to happen. And COVID as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know if next week cases are going to go up or down. So there's people pulling out trades left and right. So you kind of want to see what kind of like what's happening in the world, one, and then two, what month we're in as far as the calendar year. For example, come in the beginning of the month is right after holiday season. Usually the stock market is going up. You know, like for example, Amazon, Walmart, people are buying stuff, spending money. The market kind of goes up,
Mm-hmm.
especially after earnings. Everybody sees like, oh man, they did really good. Yeah, because holiday season just left. So
Yeah.
the beginning of the year, it's like smooth sailing. Stock market's going up. Then you kind of hit towards like the summertime. It gets a little volatile, and then September, people start taking their profits, and stock starts to go down. It also depends what business cycle, what part of the business cycle we're in as well. So that's kind of what you want to look when
Okay.
it comes to the stock market. So yeah, that does touch on what affects the stock market. So what makes it go up and down? A lot of times it's news. A lot of times it's what's called earnings. You know, if you're a publicly traded company, like every company on the stock market, you have to
Mm-hmm.
disclose your financials, like how well you did for the quarter, because you have to give to the public the proper information to make an informed decision. So, do you know what an index is? Like the Dow Jones and the S&P 500. Have you heard of those?
No, that is what is confusing me. Like, I don't know if it was it you or somebody that was talking like, oh, the Dow went up. But I don't even, I haven't learned that part yet.
Yeah.
Isn't
So
that the beginning part you should know?
no, I mean it's just a gauge. When you say
Okay.
if someone was to say to you the Dow was down today, or the S&P 500 was down today, or the Nasdaq. So basically, it's
I
like,
kind of have an idea what the Nasdaq is,
what do you think it
but
is?
not the other ones. Are they all the same?
No.
Huh?
No.
Oh, okay.
What do you think it
Do you
is?
want to touch on?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't.
All right. So
I don't know for sure. So.
so Dow Jones is it's a group of stocks. It's like 30 of them. And basically these are
Mhm.
like the stocks that best indicate how the US economy is going to go. So basically if these 30 stocks are doing good or bad, that's an indication of how good or bad the economy's flowing. So that's the Dow.
Oh
That's the Dow
wow.
Jones. So when they say the Dow Jones was down today, that means oh man, the whole market was pretty much down. That's what it's supposed to mean. And
Mhm.
traditionally, I think that was more accurate, but today I don't think that is as accurate today. Now there's this S&P
Mhm.
500. The 500 comes from how many companies are in that group. So you got
That's
30
is that
companies.
the Fortune 500?
I don't know if it's exactly the Fortune 500, but um, that's a good question. I don't know. I think it's the same. I have to look
Yeah.
into that. You just got me.
Yeah. Look into that. You got some homework to do.
Yeah, it's probably not the same though, but it's supposed to be
Oh,
the
okay.
top 500 companies in the United States. So
Mm.
that's even to me and to most people a better indication of how well the stock market is going because it's 500 companies versus 300 or 30 companies. So if 500 companies are down altogether, that's a better indication of what's happening in the stock market. Do you have any experience with dealing with the stock
So,
market and how it operates?
okay, so I remember one time I started trying to learn how to invest or whatever. I have the like the books, investing 101, blah blah blah. So and I've learned that the news, has a portion to play with it. So I'm trying to be like proactive. I hear about this like company that is doing well, blah blah blah. So I go in, boom, and I buy all these stocks, right? Spent a lot of money. As soon as I bought, it was like a light went off in their office or whatever, and it was like boom, Monique bought the stock, and it just went down,
Uh,
and I lost so much money, and I was like so pissed, like because I'm trying to be proactive and learn to do it on my own, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me right now?
yeah.
So I
Oh,
don't even know why that happened.
all right. So
I just
I'm happy you touched on that because I would have totally forgot. So what happened there was it's called a pump and dump. So
mm,
a whole bunch of people buy the stock
mm-hmm.
and let it rise up, and then they get people like you that are like, "Oh man, it's going up." and back like me back in the day, and it's going up, and you're like, "I need to get in on this. I need to, I'm missing out."
Yeah.
Um, and then so they take all their profits after it's went up. They're like, "Oh, it's gone up far enough. I'm selling," and then everybody sells, and then it just goes. So it's called a pump and dump.
That's messed up.
They hype
Okay,
it
so
up.
then how do
Like,
they know?
oh, they have the news hype it up, the media, and they're like, oh yeah, like keep on hyping up. And then once it goes up, they're like, all right, I'm done, and they sell it.
So what does it do? Are they all on a Zoom call like boom, sell right now? Because it literally dropped like if I was on a slide.
It seems like it, but it's more like a domino effect. It's like one
Mm.
big investor, and I'll touch on that too. One big investor sells, and then another one. They're like, and then people are like, oh, it's starting, and the people that are in the know, they're like,
Oh,
and then everybody
oh,
starts
they see. It's
selling.
like you see everybody running.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
you see a group of people running. You're like, oh shit, they're running. You just start running. You ask questions later.
Exactly. Like what was that? Like Cedric the Entertainer joke? Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta tell me why we running. All I gotta see is you running and I'm running too. That's how it is. Like that's how it is. You want to take your profit. Oh, everybody's taking profit. I'm taking my profits too. And that's how
Oh, that's how it was. That's how it was. I was just
it
like,
is.
I'm about to get paid. I was so excited.
Yeah,
And
you're
then
like, oh,
it just,
I'm about to get in on
I
this.
was like, yeah, I was like, oh, I'm about to get in. I'm on the up and up. Like, I'm learning. Nah.
So
It's like they left me.
the bad thing about us, so there's two type of investors.
Okay.
So me and you, we're the little people. We're called retail investors.
You're the little people?
Yeah, really little people.
Lying.
And then there's a other one called institutional investors. So these are the hedge funds with hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. So they say,
Oh, okay. Now I see why you.
I heard this number, I don't know how accurate it is, but it said for every share I buy as a retail investor, they buy about 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
So that means like when they sell and other people sell, like, oh, the stock is going down. So really, like
That's
you gotta ride the trend. Like you really don't have effect on a stock going up or down. You're like, you think your 100 shares are really doing something? No, somebody just bought like 700,000, and then they're about to buy another
dang.
800,000 like in 2 minutes. So yeah, so they really move the market, institutional investors, and those are the people that are like pumping and dumping as well.
Mm,
Yep, yep.
okay. See, I've never did it again though. I only did it once. I learned my lesson one time and I was done. I was like, nah, I'm good. Stuff, not spend as much money as I did that time.
And a lot of them, they're tied to the news, so they'll buy
Mm-hmm.
what's called a pre-market. Pre-market, um, I think you could start buying the shares as early as like 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And institutional investors, they start buying before the like regular people like me and you start buying stock. So when you see, if you wake up in the morning and it's before 9, which is stock market, and you see like Pfizer, for example, is up 25%,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, how?
Mm-hmm.
The stock market's not even open. It's because it's a pre-market and a whole bunch of people are buying it. And then you come in at 9 o'clock, you're like, oh, I'm about to buy, and then everybody's selling because they are taking their profit. Yeah.
Man, that's messed up. So it's like
That's a winning game.
so it's like those people, like with the people who have the big money come in, like the ones with the duffel bags, and they pretty much clean house. They
Exactly.
take all the little people's money, so the little.
Well, sometimes they don't take money. Sometimes they keep on buying. Sometimes they keep
Oh,
on buying,
really?
and you reap the benefits of them. You're like, oh yeah. Sometimes
I
you
want to
might
be that person.
and buy up before they do. You're like, ooh, I'm happy that happened. And then you're sitting pretty.
I want to be the person that comes in with the duffel bag full of money and
Hey,
starts
we're gonna do it one
pumping and dumping.
day.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. That's my goal. I want to be a pump and dumper.
Yeah, pump and dumper. That sounds weird, but let's do it.
Yo, so everyone take a moment, hit that subscribe button right there. Yeah, down below. Subscribe, like, and share. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at investment underscore talk underscore only underscore MDI. Yes, that's the name. And definitely hit us up in the DM. Or you can email us at admin at mdinvestmentsllc.com. We definitely want to hear from you. We want your questions. We want your feedback. So hit us up. Anyways, let's get back to this money investment talk only. We have actually had a couple questions come in. So let me.
And so before we, I'm just telling everybody, before we have the topic, we try to solicit questions. So if you want your question answered on live on air, then you can when we post on Facebook on Investment Talk Only, the Facebook page, and Investment Talk Only MDI, all underscores on IG. When we post, you could drop your questions in the comments and we'll answer them here.
Even under the YouTube episodes, you know, we get notifications about the comments. There's a lot of comments that come in, so we definitely appreciate that as well. But if you have questions, put that in there. If you have things that you want covered, you know, like, hey, can you guys cover this, etc. Like, you can put we look at all of that stuff and keep track of all that stuff. So definitely do that. But yes, like he said, we post on the Instagram story or on the Instagram page whenever we have a topic coming up, and we try to get some canned questions come in. So, all right. So how often should you switch stocks?
I would say I like to tell people I want you to invest for the long term. If you're just beginning,
Mm-hmm.
really, if you know what you're doing, then you can invest out. You can trade as much as you want to, but invest for the long term. So when you're investing for the long term, you really have check your stocks like every 3 months. And I say just check it, not switch it. So like if a stock is doing good with you for you, even like 1 or 2 years out, just keep on going with who you want, who you brought you to the dance. So like just keep on going with it. I've seen a lady keep Disney stock for like 15, 20 years and it did her well. So
Mm.
yeah, so but I say definitely check it every about 3 to 4 months just to make sure nothing has changed, no news came out. If so,
Mm-hmm.
then change the stock. But if it's still looking like it's gonna be bright, then keep on going with it.
I'm sure that requires a lot of patience and determination. Because, somebody like me, you see something going up and you're like, oh, like, like you profited so much money and then you want to pull it out. Or I'm going to piggyback off that question. How do you know? So so you make a profit off of stock, you have it long term. Should you sell and use that profit to buy more stock, or just let it sit if you see a significant amount of profit?
It's kind of your choice at that point. Like I said, you keep
Mm-hmm.
on going with the stock that brought you there, and if this outlook
Mm-hmm.
is still good, just stick around with it. But if you think another stock is going to do better, then you can just shave off the profits, probably keep the original capital, and put the
Mm-hmm.
profits into the new stock. You can do that, but
Yeah.
there's no limit to how much success you can have. Like, don't put a limit on your success.
No,
Yeah, just keep
that
on.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So I remember one of the questions were, how do you know which stock is a long-term stock? Which stock you should use as a swing, what is it, swing stock?
Swing trade.
And swing trade. There you go. A long-term stock or a swing trade. I think that was one of the questions in there. So one of them was like, what's the best way to know that a stock has potential growth, or are we just winging it?
So are those two different questions?
No, that's one question.
All right. So if you want to determine how good a stock is, you want to look at the fundamentals. So their profit margins, just the
Mm-hmm.
business model. Like, does it make sense? Like, are people gonna buy this? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we could go as simple as that. How much cash they have, like free cash, so like just cash standing around. Because usually, if they have a lot of cash just standing around, then that means that they're doing pretty good because they don't need it. And then also you want to really, if you don't want to even do all that research, defer to analysts reports. So these are analysts
Yeah.
who actually cover that stock, and they did a deep dive into looking into their business model and even meeting up with the management, seeing their outlook, seeing what they see, what they predict the future is going to be. So um, some stuff like that, like analyst reports, you could get from like barchart.com or Zacks.com, and they'll have some analyst reports there. So
Is
uh,
that also what you covered in that couple of episodes ago when you went over um Merrill Lynch
mm,
and
no,
it had all that stuff?
some of
That's
it
not, is that
was in,
different?
some of it was in there, but I didn't mention barchart.com or Zacks.com. But analyst reports are definitely like a gold mine, and also the earnings report when the earnings come out, because
Mm-hmm.
they'll tell you how they did last quarter, and they'll tell you how they did versus the prior year, but they'll also tell you what to expect in the future. Like, are we going to hit our revenue target? Um,
Mm-hmm.
what products are coming out like that? So I'll say number one, look at analyst reports. They'll give you whether you should buy or not. Um,
Mm-hmm.
earnings reports, and just like the websites like barchart.com or Zacks.com, but it's definitely not
So
winging it.
you said it's
You don't want to wing it.
okay. So bar chart meaning like BAR chart.com. And then what did you say? Zacks?
Zacks.com.
How do you spell that?
Like the name Zack. Yes.
Okay. See, I was definitely thinking ZAX, so that's why I
Okay.
wanted to clarify.
So you definitely gonna have to do some research, which
Mm-hmm.
as easy as what I just said. And it's not hard research, but you're gonna have to look into it. But it's not waking up
Okay.
the door.
Definitely not winging it.
Yeah.
So that leads to another question, kind of what we just talked about. How do you know what stock is like daily, short term, or long term? Mm-hmm.
But barchart.com has something cool. If you go on there, there's a
Mm-hmm.
on the left hand side of the menu, it says I think it's like traders cheat sheet. So when we
Mm-hmm.
talk about long term, that's like over a year, over 5 years, that's long. Talking about short term, that's like daily, weekly, or monthly, like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the trader's cheat sheet, it'll tell you some stuff like what prices when to buy and like when to sell, kind of. Um,
Okay.
so those are like, it's called technical analysis. It's like all those patterns that you see that we talked about that you
Mm-hmm.
hit on. So
Yeah.
technical analysis is kind of like the price movements. So that's a whole nother like study of
Okay.
study of technical analysis. Um,
Yeah.
looking at the charts and stuff. So I'll say looking at the chart patterns is more for like the short term trading, and then looking at the
Okay.
analyst reports and all that stuff access for the long term investing.
And that's what you do, right? On the daily, you do the short term trading,
Yeah, I do the
day
day.
trading.
I do all everything in the game. So I do the day trading,
Oh,
and then I do the long term as well. So yeah, the trading, short term, weekly, like the question was, is like you got to look at the patterns. You got to look at the price volume, like the 10-day average of the volume. Like, is it going up?
okay.
Is it slowing down? Those are things like that.
So
It
not
takes
trying to,
a lot of studying time to kind of perfect that.
okay. So not trying to be all in your office or nothing, but if you look on your computer, your screen, you can see it. Those are the charts, right?
Yeah,
You can see it.
yeah. There's
Yeah. So that's what you read to do your technical analysis and all that.
exactly, yeah. So yeah, I'll do that if I want to make a swing trade, make a trade over and like buy it and sell it in a couple of days. I'll look at the charts. If I want to make a day trade, which is buy it and sell it in a couple minutes,
Hmm.
a couple hours, I'll look at these charts here.
That's funny. Yo, not gonna front, that Albert Einstein picture behind you is kind of creepy. It's like he's like looking at me like this the whole time.
He's my spirit
The
animal.
way that the way that it's leveled on the computer screen, it's
Oh,
like he's
okay.
like
Yeah, I can't. My spirit animal. He helps.
that's funny.
He gives me
Hey, do what you
brain.
gotta do.
Shout out to
That's
Albert.
funny.
Shout out to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay, so we have another question. It says, when do you invest in small cap growth stocks?
So small cap stocks, or it's called caps. Is short for capitalization. So it's
Mm-hmm.
basically how much are they worth? Like how much money do they have?
Mm,
So
okay.
small cap stocks, they're smaller companies. Um, they're not.
Like
They're
mom
not
and pop
stable. They're
shops?
not. Hmm?
Like mom and pop type stuff?
I wouldn't say mom and pop. They're just smaller companies like compared to like Apple, Microsoft, like the big companies that you
Okay.
know of.
Okay.
But the thing is, they're not mature, and so
Mm,
probably not going to give out dividends. They're probably not strong on their balance sheet. They probably don't have great financials. They're
mm,
not because they're not mature. They haven't been in long enough and perfected and stabilized. But
okay.
what they do have to their advantage is that they have a lot of growth potential, which Microsoft, for example, they're not gonna boom like that, like a small cap stock. So I'll say when you
Yeah.
have a longer time horizon, so 10 years
Mm-hmm.
or more, to like whenever you want to use the money, say for retirement. So if you're younger,
Mm-hmm.
have a longer time horizon. So that's a good place to where you want to invest in a small cap because they have high potential. So they're riskier. They have high potential, but they're a lot riskier as well, which is the more mature companies, they're not going to move as fast up. They're just going to stay even kill and grow a little bit. Now,
Mm,
as you're closer to retirement, you want that because you
yeah.
don't put your money at risk.
Yeah.
So you don't want to invest in a small cap. So when you have a longer time horizon, when you're younger,
Hmm.
you want that. You want that growth because you have a long time. If you lose it, you still have enough time to make it up.
I remember when I was doing my 401k and I had you adjust things and I told you to put an X next to everything that I should put I remember looking at that. I was like, what is a small cap? But I mean, I didn't ask no question. I did whatever you told me to do.
Yeah.
But I remember you told me that because I'm younger
Yep.
to put my money in there.
Yeah. And it's not all of it, just more of a portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you want to still keep it diversified.
Exactly.
That's episode. No, I was kidding. That's episode 2.
That's explainer.
Yeah. Oh, that's explainer.
Nah.
Yeah. See, I be learning. I be learning. Listen, I want everybody to know that I'm learning with you guys. So, like, we're in this together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm taking notes. I'm trying to sponge everything in.
Represent the people.
Yeah, I represent the people. I should run for office. No, but yeah, so I'm definitely learning too. I try to, take notes, and I rewatch the episodes too, because I sometimes, like I'm talking to you and we're talking about it, but sometimes I really want to like go back and do some research and look at things, and that's why I remember some of these things from episodes. Cause I go and I'm just like everybody else, like I start watching to learn as well. So definitely with everybody.
Cool. All right. So I think the only thing left is the stock of the week.
This is your favorite part. You get so excited. Yes, I'm ready. Let's see what you got under your sleeve.
So I got a few gems here. So,
But I just want to point out that we
listen.
did not plan to dress alike today.
Oh yeah.
Like I just got on the camera and I was like, I just wanted to point that out.
Great minds think alike.
Yes.
That's what they said. All right. So stock of the week is a Square. Remember a Square? Yeah, I know, right?
I have one in my drawer right there.
So that's the old school when they attach it to your phone and then that's the old Square. That's the one that we first got introduced to. But they're doing a lot of things digitally that other companies are not doing. So for example, even as when COVID happened, a lot of banks weren't in position to give people money for their aid digitally. Square has a lot of things that they're doing digitally, and they're more like an online banking platform, kind of like a PayPal. So they're more in that space. So they kind of grew from that physical device that you see. They're going to other things. So they're in this ETF, this fund called ARK.
ARK, A-R-C or K?
ARKK. So that's another one to look out for. I just gave you 2.
Dang, you over here.
All right.
You over here giving all the goods.
So look at ARKK. The fund manager is Kathy Woods. And she's just a brilliant mind. And what she does is invest in disruptive technologies. So these technologies that she selects in her fund, things that these are going to be the next big things and change the way we do things. Where's in her fund? And like I said, if you look at ARK, just look at her resume, like as far as her performance, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna whatever she says, I'm good with. I'm not even gonna question it. And she has Square.
Really?
Yeah. So Square is the stock of the week. ARKK, ARK, and Kathy Woods. If you follow her on YouTube, IG, whatever.
Okay.
She's a brilliant mind. And yeah, take heed to what she says. When she talks, listen.
How do you find these people?
I'm well connected.
He's like, well connected. Oh my God. That's what they say. Networking is, one of the best things you can do to become successful. As well as hard work and determination. Don't get me started because that's a whole nother episode. I need to do a whole episode just me talking about drive and determination and all that stuff, because
We kind of
at
got
the
an
end of the day,
episode on that, so
huh?
we're kind of gonna have an episode on that.
Yeah, because I feel like at the end of the day, you can learn all of these things, right? You're talking, they're listening, we are listening, should I say. But it all, I'm gonna start preaching, but it all comes down to you. And do you have the drive to sustain what you're doing? So you can go and buy a stock, you can listen to it, but are you, doing your research, trying to grow mentally with your money, not just putting it in there and just,
Exactly. I give a lot of people, and especially in the chat, like we all give each other information, but there's only a few who actually act on it. That's actually the biggest step, is just acting on it. And
yeah,
like that's
yeah.
like you got to give yourself the most credit if you're actually like, all right, I'm gonna take heed to this information and do it. So
You got to be a doer. You got to be a doer. That's like when people hit me up all the time about jobs and stuff, like, oh, Monique, I'm like, we're talking right now, but are you going to actually put in the effort and make the moves? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to waste my time. And I don't want to waste your time either. So
yep.
if you're listening and you're watching these, like, utilize it, make the moves, and you'll see the growth, and then you'll continue.
Yep. Well, hopefully, it helps people understand the market a little bit better, how it works, what it is, and how it moves, and why it moves. If there's anything else, if there's anything that we missed, and you think we should have added, comment, let us know, because definitely would like to hear the feedback and touch on stuff that I might miss. If you like this video, go ahead, subscribe. That definitely helps us.
Yes.
YouTube algorithm, comment. And if you want to be in the know for these stocks of the weeks and information like this, go ahead and hit the bell so you can get
that bell. Yes.
Drop a video.
And people have been hitting that bell because we've been posting, and before we even put the promo out, we already start seeing views. So that's great news. I like to see that, because when I start to go to promo, I'm like, 10 views already? You just uploaded it. So I love that. That's motivating.
Yeah.
So
thank you. This has been Investment Talk Only. I'm Johnny Ruiz.
All right. Peace.
Show me the money. Investment Talk Only. We keeping it coming.